Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. Tennessee Fall Camp starts Wednesday, July the 30th. And here's what we know coming out of media days yesterday. Josh Heupel says it's an open competition. They're not going to give Joey Aguilar the job. A lot of people, myself, it's kind of who I expect to take over the role as well. But it's not going to be given to him. And the fact that he comes in May, they said they've accelerated, basically his knowledge, getting him up to speed with all the reads, all the terminology, all these things. I think it's going to make a pretty fascinating fall camp. Now, some things that stood out to me yesterday as I talk about this is Miles Kitselman talked about how Aguilar's come in and made friends quick, how he's really mature. He said really good things about him, the fact that he's come in and made those friendships immediately. That's a big thing. That's a big deal with it, your camaraderie, your trust, because that's the guy, if you're the dude, these guys around you, that's who you're in the trenches with. You want them on your side for sure. And something that's interesting to me too, Kitselman said last year there was basically a void in leadership. And, that points to one guy for me. And said we'd come off 3rd and long or 3 and out or something, and just nothing. And I think that was missing again last year. I mean, we look at SEC media days yesterday, and the narrative is, well, Tennessee's going to have a tough time. There was people even mentioned 7-5 with this team. Can they get 9-3? That a lot of people are not giving them that chance to go 9-3. This year. I'll talk about the record later on with it. That's my projection on it, just because I have to see them beat Georgia to believe it, and I have to see them beat Florida and Alabama on the road to believe it. Other than that, I think they take care of business the rest of the schedule. I really do, and I think people are selling this team short. But what we're going to talk about here is fall camp and what we're coming into here. We're looking at, again, it's a 3-way battle. Joey Aguilar, Jake Merklinger, George McIntyre as well. McIntyre, 4-star guy coming in. I don't remember if I just Merklinger, McIntyre, both 4 stars coming in. Aguilar, of course, played, started out at a smaller school, went to Appy State, a couple years transferred to UCLA, and then we basically had more or less it was a trade. It was more or less a trade of Joey Aguilar for Nico Iamaleava. And I'll tell you this, and I'm being upfront, I'm not being a homer on this. I like Joey Aguilar at quarterback better than I like Nico at quarterback. And that's not because he left. Nico was one of the worst quarterbacks in SEC play last year. And I appreciated the people on SEC Network or whatever yesterday that did point out that they would say that team won in spite of Nico at times. Dylan Sampson was the key to the offense, and the defense won them some games. We can sit here and look at the Georgia game plan. We can look at the Ohio State game plan all we want. We can even go Arkansas, but I'll tell you this, that defense did what it needed to do to win that football game. The offense didn't. That was the bottom line on that one. You win that game as you should have. You don't have to go to Ohio State for the first round. Could have been a different playoff for Tennessee. Tennessee's really, in my opinion, the last 2 years had subpar quarterback play. Funny enough, I think Milton might have been a little better than Nico. I don't know. They both had their moments. Nico had his moments last year. Let's make no mistake about it. But I expected it yesterday, and they come right out of the gates. The focus was on Nico. This was prior to Josh Heupel's press conference. And this is obviously the big story. This is going to determine what this team does this year. The big thing with Joey Aguilar is the turnovers last couple years at App State, but he's thrown for over 6,000 yards. He's a gunslinger, as they say, prone to turn the ball over. But here's the thing, last year they played from behind so much. I mean, when your coach gets canned, that should tell you how the team was doing last year. They played from behind a lot. Again, I know somebody that has their son-in-law played for App State last year and said everybody really loved Aguilar. Said the same thing we all see. He would have some really good moments, and then he'd have kind of some head-scratching moments as well. Don't know if that was a case of trying to make something out of nothing, desperation mode when you're behind, or what. One thing they had mentioned yesterday, and I thought was interesting, and we forget this, is the Tennessee quarterbacks have not thrown for more than 5 interceptions in a season since Heupel has been in Knoxville. I think that's a pretty fascinating stat. And if Tennessee can get Aguilar to cut down on those turnovers, we might have something here. Now, we can sit here and say don't discount Jake Merklinger, don't discount George McIntyre. To me, I still say the experience. And, this is a guy who has done it against good teams. All right, he's played against these teams. We'll see how it goes. I do believe it'll be a wide open competition, but I really think experience wins out when it's all said and done. Does that mean it'll be the right decision? Does that mean that will be what sticks the rest of the season? Not necessarily. I mean, we've seen it. Heupel's first year, Joe Milton won the job, got hurt against Pitt. Hendon Hooker took over and never looked back. All 3 guys have got to stay ready in the event that an injury is to happen. But, but something I really took out of yesterday is I don't think a lot of the media is very high on Tennessee this year. And again, I'm not seeing, one of the things I know Feinbaum was talking about was it's not been the games they're supposed to lose. It's the games they weren't supposed to lose that's been the issue. And I don't know that Mississippi State will be enough. And I feel like Tennessee should go down to Mississippi State on the road and win. I always expect them to go to Kentucky and win. That's really I've already mentioned Florida and Alabama. I've got to see it to believe it, winning at both those places. It's been a long time since Tennessee's won at either one of those places. What, early 2000s? I guess it was. So, looking back on that, what was it, 01 the last time they won? No, 03 the last time they won at Florida. And it may have also been 03 the last time they won at Bama, too. I know they didn't win in 05 or 07. I think it was 03 for both. If I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong on that one because I'm not going to look it up. But based on my memory, I really think it's been since 03 since we beat either one of those teams on the road. Each guy, here's where definitely Merklinger, here's where he may have the advantage is knowledge of the playbook. He's been in it now going on his second year. He's familiar with it. He went through spring practice. Now, he probably didn't get the reps that he would have, but he still got reps. Kind of sucks Nico stayed and took up all the first-team reps through spring, and then he hit the road at the end. It is what it is, though. And I've said it before, good riddance. Good riddance to him. Guy's got talent, but, hopefully we won't, and myself included, won't have to keep talking about him. But I thought it was interesting, some of the news and notes, again, that Kitzelman, some of the stuff that, he talked about as well. And, Heupel was he's not going to come out and just say that, this guy's the quarterback. It's not a lot this year. Maybe next year it is because if I'm not mistaken on this one, Aguilar could possibly have 2 years at Tennessee. Don't know what the plan is with it. I think you would think best case he does well enough where his stock's up there high enough to get drafted. But if the Pavia rule applies to everyone, Aguilar may have 2 years at Tennessee very well. Now it's going to depend on how he does too. If he wins the job, can he sustain it and hold on to it? You've got a tough test out of the gate with Syracuse. You got ETSU, which will be a gimme. And then you got Georgia week 3. You're coming out of the gate guns a-blazing pretty much. And that Syracuse game will be a tough one. But it's an opportunity for Tennessee because everybody yesterday is talking about it being a tough game, a sneaky game. You've got an opportunity for Tennessee also to go to Atlanta and make a statement coming out of the gate. So that's going to be interesting to watch as well. But just I think the biggest thing with Aguilar will be learning the system. I would think the guy's probably putting in a ton now to learn the system. Looking at it as well, Heupel said it here. It matters to your offensive guys, your defensive guys. That's the guys that trust in him, that pay dividends throughout the season. And he says there's not a timeline on it. Somebody's got to go take it, learn it, earn it, take the job. And he says we'll practice in a way where they get a chance to truly compete. And, the biggest thing will be, I think the one thing with Aguilar is if he's careless with the football, that's where you're going to see Merklinger or McIntyre. I would put my order thinking going in, and I could be wrong, is Aguilar, Merklinger, McIntyre. That's how I see it going right now. But every guy, and Heupel said it, every guy should know it's competition. They should have that urgency to come in and try to win that job. Until it's said otherwise, and we probably honestly won't hear anything until we get closer to the Syracuse game. Well, I don't expect, I would say the week of, that's when they'll name a starting quarterback. You may even see the infamous or on the chart. You may see Joey Aguilar or Jake Merklinger or George McIntyre, which would not surprise me at all with it. I'm higher on people on this team than people are. I like this offensive line that they're building. I think at running back, yes, you're going to miss Dylan Sampson. I feel with Peyton Lewis, with Deshaun Bishop, and with Star Thomas, you're going to have a pretty good trio. And I wouldn't even rule out a DeJuan Morris as well contributing, because they've spoke highly of him in the spring. Receiving play has to be better this year, right? How much of receiving play has been a product of poor quarterback play the last 2 years? We'll see on that one. Tight ends, I feel the tight ends will continue to take more of a step. And then I like the defense. Will the defensive line be as deep as last year? No. But I think there'll be some guys step up, take that next step that maybe weren't as big, as big of a part last year. I expect the linebackers to take a step forward. And then I feel that secondary is going to be really good this year as well, especially once you get Jermond McCoy back. But I feel the acquisition of Colton Hood was big. I think that guy's a player coming in. We're going to have some depth. This team, and like Josh Heupel said yesterday, and we forget this, going into year 5, it's not a finished product. They're still overcoming. They're just now getting to that point where they're starting to have a full SEC roster. They had the scholarship limitations. They had the recruiting issues from the Pruitt former era. I think we forget that a lot of times. And this staff's doing a pretty fine job right now. If they were to go 8-4 this year, 7-5, I don't expect them to. I'm expecting, again, I'm going 9-3, and then I don't know if that'd be enough to get in the playoff or not. We'll have to see on that one. But we'll wrap up on that. I think I'm ready, man. I'm ready for fall camp. We're right at 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, fall camp begins. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, man, I come out yesterday. I'd go out and just to smell the grass. It's like it's football time. It's almost football time. But we're almost there. Guys, have a good one. Frank, House of Orange, and last but not least, I'll see you when I see you.